The Sick Old Mother. Chapter 1. The Small House in Ohio. Michael lived in a small town in Ohio. At 35, he worked long shifts at a local factory. He wasn't rich, but he was hardworking, honest, and deeply devoted to his family. His mother, Martha, was 72. She had raised him and his two sisters all alone after their father died when Michael was just 10. She worked as a waitress, sometimes doing 2 jobs to put food on the table and send her kids to school. Now, she was old, fragile, and sick. She had trouble breathing. Her legs often hurt, and she coughed through the night. Doctors had diagnosed her with chronic lung disease. Michael moved back into her small wooden house after his sisters got married and moved to other cities. He wanted to be there for the woman who had sacrificed her whole life for them. Chapter 2. The First Signs of Decline. It started with small things. Martha forgot where she kept her glasses, got tired after climbing a few stairs, and needed help carrying groceries. "Mom, let me do it," Michael would say, gently taking the bags from her. She would smile weakly and reply, "I used to do all this for you when you were small." Now, the roles are reversed. Michael tried to hide his worry, but at night, while she slept, he would sit at the kitchen table, head in his hands, wondering how long she could keep fighting. Chapter 3. Doctor's Words. One afternoon, Michael took Martha to the hospital in Columbus. After a long set of tests, the doctor pulled Michael aside. "She's in the advanced stage," the doctor said softly. "Her lungs are very weak. The medicines can help, but there's no full cure. She needs constant care." Michael felt a heavy weight on his chest. He looked through the glass window at his mother, sitting patiently, her hands folded in her lap. She looked so small, so fragile, like a child waiting to be guided home. On the drive back, Martha said quietly, "Don't waste too much money on me, Michael. You have your own life." Michael tightened his grip on the steering wheel. "Mom, my life is you. Don't ever say that again." Chapter 4. Long Nights. From then on, life became a cycle of work and care. Michael worked 12-hour shifts at the factory and then rushed home to cook dinner, give his mother her medicines, and sit by her bedside. Sometimes, she would wake in the middle of the night, struggling to breathe. Michael would hold her hand, whispering, "It's okay, Mom. I'm here." He often slept on the couch near her room, listening for her cough. The sound tore through him like knives, yet he stayed strong in front of her. Inside, though, he was breaking. Chapter 5. Memories of the Past. One evening, while feeding her soup, Michael asked, "Mom, do you remember when you used to walk me to school every day?" Martha smiled faintly. "I remember you crying on your first day, holding my dress so tightly. You didn't want to let go." Michael laughed softly, but tears welled up in his eyes. I never want to let go, Mom. Not now, not ever. That night, as Martha dozed off, Michael opened an old photo album. Pictures of birthdays, Christmas mornings, school plays, all with his mother smiling proudly beside him. He realized how much she had given him and how little time he might have left to give back. Chapter 6: Financial Strain. Medical bills piled up. Insurance covered some, but not all. Michael sold his car, took extra weekend shifts, and even borrowed money from friends. His sisters sent what they could, but they had children and responsibilities of their own. One night, after paying another bill, Michael stared at his near-empty bank account. He felt crushed. But then he heard his mother coughing from her room, and he rushed to her side, forgetting his own struggles. Money mattered, yes, but nothing mattered more than keeping her comfortable. Chapter 7: Community Support. The neighbors soon noticed Michael's devotion. Mrs. Johnson, their kind elderly neighbor, sometimes brought hot meals. The local church organized a small fundraiser to help with medical costs. One Sunday, the pastor called Michael to the front and said, "This man shows us what true love looks like, the love of a child for his mother." Michael felt shy, but Martha, sitting in the pew, looked at him with tears in her eyes. For her, he wasn't just her son, he was her miracle. Chapter 8: The Hardest Winter. That winter was brutal. Snow covered the streets. The heater broke down twice, and Martha's health declined further. Michael wrapped her in blankets, made hot tea, and read aloud from her favorite Bible passages. Sometimes she would smile and say, "Your voice is the best medicine." One night, during a heavy snowstorm, her breathing worsened. Michael rushed her to the hospital. As doctors worked, he sat in the waiting room, trembling, praying silently, "Please, God, don't take her yet." After hours, she stabilized. Michael walked into her room, tears streaming down his face. She looked at him and whispered, "You're my strength, son." Chapter 9: Acceptance. Months passed, and Martha grew weaker. She knew her time was near, though she never said it directly. Instead, she often told Michael stories from her youth. How she met his father. How she worked long shifts just to buy him his first bicycle. How proud she was of the man he had become. One evening, she said softly, "Michael, promise me you'll live your life fully when I'm gone. Promise me you'll find happiness." Michael couldn't speak. He only held her hand tightly, his tears falling onto her frail skin. Chapter 10: The Last Goodbye. One quiet spring morning, Martha didn't wake up. She passed peacefully in her sleep, with Michael sleeping on the chair beside her bed, still holding her hand. When he realized, his heart shattered. He cried like a child, the same way he had cried on his first day of school, not wanting to let go. The funeral was simple, attended by neighbors, friends, and his sisters. The pastor said, "She lived her life in sacrifice, and she leaves behind love that will never die. Michael stood by her grave long after everyone left, whispering, "Thank you, Mom, for everything. I will carry your love forever." Chapter 11. A New Strength. Months later, Michael still missed her every day, but he also felt stronger. He joined community groups that supported caregivers, sharing his story and encouraging others who were taking care of sick parents. He realized his mother's greatest lesson was this: love is sacrifice, and sacrifice is love. Though she was gone, her love lived in him. Every act of kindness, every moment of strength, was her legacy shining through him.